debating whether I should continue to work things out with girlfriend or just leave. We've been together 6 months. First off, me and this girl dated about a year ago for a month. She ended up cheating on me, we stayed together, and she left me. She texted her toxic and abusive ex about missing him and wanting to get back together, to which she explained that she was just fucked up at the time and had so much changing in her life that she wanted something that was known. To me, it's not an excuse to cheat, but I loved this girl, so I stayed. She left me and I cut off all ties with her for a year. We rekindled, started talking again, took things slow, and eventually we got back together. She seemed like she changed a lot. She chilled out on her drinking and smoking problems, seemed much more happy and excited with her life in general, and even got back into doing her schooling and taking it more serious. I finally felt like she was the girl that I always knew she was. And then things changed. She went back to school, and started partying. A lot Thursday, Sunday, sometimes even during school days. She started failing classes again, started drinking and smoking badly, all that stuff. Me personally, I don't enjoy partying like I used to. I found that to me, it's a pointless temporary escape from life's problems that you should be facing instead of putting to the side. It also just gets you nowhere in life, just that little rush of dopamine. So, I choose to stay home, work on my craft, and she goes out and parties with her failing grades. Her life, not mine, and I don't control her. She recently asked me about going to a party we were invited to which I responded with, I just don't enjoy parties anymore, you're more than welcome to go though. This started a fire inside of her for whatever reason, where she claimed that I judge her for her drinking and smoking all the time, how I hate her friends, and the worst one in my opinion, how I believe I'm better than everyone else because I don't smoke, drink, or party. This proceeded to make me extremely pissed, where I started standing my ground in what I believe in and that what she was saying was not true. Do I worry that she drinks and smokes and parties with her failing grades? Of course I do. Do I control her for doing it? I don't, at all. On top of this, the people who invited her are her guy friends. I believe in trusting your partner no matter what, but the amount she hangs out with said guys is definitely worrisome. They're part of her party group, they drink together, go to bars together, and they eventually end up at his frat house, when I'm not there. I get pretty pissed about this, yet her response is, if you trusted me, then it wouldn't be an issue. Like, yes, I agree with trust, but where does trust cross the line of respect? Should I just end it and move on? Next story 2. Ended a friendship with a close-ish friend because she was flirting with my boyfriend. There's a friend that I've had for about 2 years and we've hung out on and off simply because of the odd and rude remarks she would make to my BF and I typically when we do couple things. Even if it's just us holding hands or hugging. For example, one time when he hugged me she got upset and said, "Why are you hugging her? She doesn't need that right now," and etc. My BF and I agreed the comments she had made were very odd. The most recent example was when she looked over at my BF and said out loud, "Why did you pull your hand away from her when I looked up at you?" My BF and I just blankly stared at her. We were so confused. She would periodically make comments like this as if she were trying to start a fight between us, but we chose to ignore and look past them. She would also only make these comments when she was single. If she was in a relationship, I'd notice she'd rarely comment on those things, if at all. However, she's single again now, and the last time we went to her house it escalated. This time she was being touchy by leaning on him off and on while he was trying to catch a mouse outside a small window. Long story, my boyfriend was visibly a little uncomfortable because she had no reason to be all up in his space like that, but it didn't hit us both until we got into the car after leaving and talked about it. She also went on a rant about how she has never had any guy friends because they've always turned into something more unless they are taken. I just keep finding myself questioning why on earth she would actually say all of these weird remarks out loud. It has gotten to the point that I felt like I had to say something, so I did, but over text. I did it that way so I could have everything I wanted to say written out. My boyfriend said after that night he was personally done hanging out around her. I honestly felt disgusted by her actions. I got this horrible gut feeling that it just wasn't right. I'm not the person to be overly possessive at all. I've been with my man for 5 years and none of my friends have ever made me feel this way. In fact, I love that my friends are now his and vice versa. So I laid it all out to her and told her we should go separate ways. I didn't wait for a response before blocking her because I didn't want to have a back and forth conversation about it. To me she had already crossed so many lines that I just couldn't look past anymore. This friend is also emotionally unstable, and every time I see her she will end up crying about something. She also will choose not to listen to any advice. Typically she cries about not having friends or guy troubles, and she's called me her best friend even though I just never felt the same, but I still felt for her and wanted to try to help. I have a lot of guilt because of that and the fact that at times she actually had good friend qualities and I had a lot of fun being around her. She was also very inclusive, which I appreciated, and had told her that night before things went south. There were some really sweet things she said about me and I to her. The issue is that when so much time passes, I start to forget why I'm upset, and that's why I'd only see her every 3 or so months. I really just wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. Overall, I thought I'd feel better after sending the message, but like I said, a part of me just feels guilty. But I can't have friends I don't trust. Maybe I'm not seeing the picture clearly. I keep telling myself maybe she didn't know what she was doing, but I also know I'd never make comments like that or be all up in any man's personal space in general, but especially not when they are taken out of respect. It just really struck a nerve. A part of me just wanted to ghost her, but I knew she deserved closure. I'm just not sure, I guess, if it was the right move. Comment. You'd think at some point she'd realize there has to be a reason people keep pulling away from her, and that maybe she should pay attention to some of their attempts to help her make better decisions before things get to that point. If she hasn't by now, then there's nothing you can do to fix the situation. Just keep moving on with your life. And if you encounter anyone else who keeps bringing the drama with them wherever they go, it's okay to just walk away and leave them to it. She's not a good friend. She's toxic AF. She has been trying to come between you and your BF for your entire relationship. Since her other tactics didn't work, she tried flirting with him. She thought you'd get jealous and dump him. Hopefully you'll never hear from her again, but don't be surprised if she ups her antics. Make sure everyone knows what she did in the event she tries to tell everyone your BF came onto her. Don't fool yourself. If your BF was a cheater, he would be seeing her behind your back. She's not your friend. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of her GFs stopped being friends with her over the same issue. Next, story 3. I am attracted to 2 friends who are best friends with each other and both are attracted to me. Disclaimer, I am not big on monogamy or romance in general, but I admit fully that I do find myself falling in love with people and imagining futures together. Context 4, I am going to live regardless of what the outcome is here. I just want to make sure I'm not facilitating the dissolution of a close friendship. I have known for almost a decade, just a little bit longer than he's known. However, went to college and I didn't reconnect with him until very recently. I have always thought 28M was attractive, and I got the impression that he was into me based on the way he followed me around and talked to and about me to other people. He's an incredible friend, and I'm no stranger to being attracted to friends, but I find that most of the time the friendship is more important than the risk of fallout from trying to transition to a romantic relationship. This is after a lot of experience fumbling friendships for fun sex that got tangled up in emotions. Especially since I can come off as aloof a lot of the time. When I reconnected with 28M, he introduced me to 33M, one of his very best friends that he met in college. No question, 33M is very into me, and I really enjoy talking to him and find him interesting. I'm okay with being just friends, but he finds any excuse to talk to me and compliment me for my skills, as opposed to my appearance, and I really enjoy our back and forths. I find him attractive and interesting and fun. Which, I also feel about 28M, but we don't talk as much. Since we reconnected recently, we've hung out a few times, 28M and me, and I have a blast hanging out with him. I can't entirely tell if he's actually attracted to me or just enjoys our friendship and also finds me attractive. When we've hung out recently in groups, I've noticed that he stares at me a lot and will go out of his way to hug me multiple times, both when saying hi and bye. Online, he interacts and reacts to every selfie I post, and he both has a large following online and isn't on social media constantly, so him going out of his way to follow up with my posts feels like another indicator to me. He could easily be a friend being friendly. So, assuming they both at least find me attractive, would it be terrible if I pursued one of them, specifically 33M? Honestly, I don't think this is a realistic option, but myself not being a huge monogamy person, I would rather be with both of them, but that's a unicorn situation and I want to have more realistic expectations. I'd hope that they would talk to each other if they both share feelings for me. They're also roommates, but I have no automatic way of knowing that. They've both been separately making one-on-one plans with me. Comment. You are allowed to be attracted to whoever you are attracted to. You don't need permission from internet strangers, or others to be in a relationship with someone. Just do your best not to rub it in the other's face and be prepared to face the consequences of your choices/actions. Do you think that you aren't allowed to date someone because it might hurt someone's feelings? That's a surefire BS way to end up alone for the rest of your life, except the ever-expanding collection of cats that will be living with you. Do you boo? You say you value friendship so much that you fear a romantic transition may ruin the friendship. Problem is, that same principle may affect your interest in, because one can say you value friendship so much that you won't let your feelings for make a complicated situation. After all, by that principle, you just met and no longer. I think you have some hard facts to face here. You like and you don't like as much, or at all, and you shouldn't feel bad about that. The sooner you say it like it is, the better, otherwise I see this spiraling way worse than it should be.